everyone and welcome to my booktube channel. My name is Sarah and today I'm coming at you with part 2 of my signed book collection. Over the past couple of years I have had the immense pleasure of going to lots of bookish events, and during that time I've collected quite a few signed books. I have a part 1 of this video, so if you missed that I will link it down below, because in that video I talk about my experience with my first bookish event and how it's progressed from there. And today I'm going to continue that story and go on to some more of my signed books. Let's get started. In September of this past year, there was a book festival that was pretty close to me, and so I went, and it was tons of fun. Overall, this book festival was just wonderful, and I got to meet a lot of lovely authors and get their books signed, the first of which was Jessie Andrews, the author of Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. I was a huge fan of this pretty lime green paperback, and so I got that for him to sign, and I also really loved this black on the inside because that meant he had to sign my book with silver Sharpie. He said, "For Sarah, Jessie Andrews." I love it when authors sign with silver Sharpie. Jessie was really nice and funny, and I loved getting to talk with him for a little bit. The next author that I met there was Libba Bray, author of The Diviners and a bunch of other books, but The Diviners was the only book that I got signed by her that day. Libba is such a sweetheart. She's like an actual badass. She's hilarious, and I love her a lot. I've gotten to hear her talk at different bookish events 3 times now, and she is funny and amazing every single time. She signed my book For Sarah, Kick Up Your Heels, and then a little stamp, which I thought was really awesome, and then a heart because she's a sweetie. This is where my festival experience becomes a little bit tricky, because I got into the line for Morgan Matson because I had Since You've Been Gone and I was so excited about talking to her. But my mother was there with me and she was in the next line over, which was for Jenny Han, because that was a ticketed line and we wanted in. It was a little bit touch and go there for a minute because our lines got head to head and I wanted to meet both of them. But, you know, I managed to pop into both very briefly. It was still really nice, and I got P.S. I Still Love You by her signed, and she said, "For Sarah, Jenny." The next person that I met was, of course, Morgan Matson, after much struggle in the line. She signed my copy of Since You've Been Gone, and she was so nice. She had just recently gone to a Taylor Swift concert, so we got to fangirl over Taylor Swift, and it was just so wonderful. She said, "To Sarah, all my best, XO, Morgan Matson." She is just such a genuinely wonderful person, and I love her so much. The next author that I had the pleasure of meeting at this particular bookish event was Jennifer E. Smith, the author of a bucket load of books, and the books that I got signed by her that day were The Geography of You and Me, as well as Hello, Goodbye, and Everything in Between. She signed this one, "To Sarah, Happy Reading, Jennifer E. Smith," and can you even see those tiny words? Because I cannot. I don't know what Sharpie she was using, and I don't know why she was doing it quite so tiny, but there you go. And it's just as tiny in this one too, but she has a heart, so I guess that makes up for it. And the last and final author I met at that book festival was Claudia Grey, author of the Firebird trilogy as well as the Star Wars novel Lost Stars, which is what I got signed because this is a fangirl's dream. I'm telling you, I love Star Wars and I love her writing style, and her storytelling is so amazing, and I absolutely love this book. She and I fangirled over how much we loved the villain in this story and some fan casting, and it was just so great. And she signed it "To Sarah" with the date as well as "May the Force be with you," and I love it so much. It was only like 3 days later that I went to my next bookish event. It was a signing for Julie Murphy and Leigh Bardugo. I had already met Leigh Bardugo once. I saw another opportunity to see her, and I love Leigh Bardugo so much, and I am Leigh Bardugo trash. And so I went for her signing of Six of Crows. Later I would go on to read this book and fall in love with the main character, Kaz Brekker. I'm actually marrying him, so look out for the wedding invitations in the mail coming your way soon. But yes, talking with her is always so amazing. I got to talk to her about writing and writing music, and it was just so incredible, and she was so encouraging about my writing, and I absolutely love getting to talk with her, and she is another one of the authors that I'm going to go out of my way to see again because I just love her so much. As always, she put a little quote, "The heart is an arrow," and then an arrow. And then she said, "To Sarah, Leigh Bardugo." The next bookish event that I went to was around Halloween of last year, and it was so incredibly fun. Because it was close to Halloween, there was a costume competition slash party, and I was one of the only people that actually dressed up.
I slipped on an old leather jacket and I dressed up as Katniss Everdeen, and apparently I looked kind of like Katniss.
And I won some signed posters at the event, and it was an amazing time. And the book that I got signed there was Daughters Unto Devils by Amy Lukovics. Amy is such an amazing person and so funny. If you guys don't follow her on Twitter, you definitely should. She's awesome. She said, "To Sarah with a heart, Amy Lukovics." She has another book coming out relatively soon called The Women in the Walls, and the cover is so creepy, and I want an ARC so bad. I need it in my life. The next bookish event that I went to was a Kira Cass signing, and I actually vlogged this experience, so if you're interested in watching me fangirl over Kira Cass and eating McDonald's pancakes and such, then I will leave the links down below. I would just like to say as a side note that Kira Cass is an actual cupcake, and I love her so much. She's so wonderful and kind, and she talked with me a bunch about music, and it was wonderful. So the first book that I got signed by her was The Selection. She put Sarah, Kira Cass. The next was the book that she was on tour for, which is The Siren, and I actually did not like The Siren, but it has a pretty cover, and she's a cupcake, so she said Sarah, Kira Cass. And the final book that I got signed by her is one of my favorite covers in the history of all her books, and that is The Heir. And once again, she said Sarah, Kira Cass. The next bookish event that I went to relatively recently was a Lady Midnight Cassandra Clare signing, and she was lovely. We were only allowed to get 2 books signed by her, which was a bit of a bummer. The first book that I got signed by her was actually for my brother, and so I don't have it, but the next book that I got signed, of course, was Lady Midnight. This book is massive, and I love it a lot. And she said for Sarah, Cassandra Clare, you know, the classic C with a line and another C with a line. I vlogged this event, so if you want to watch that, I'll leave it down below. So that is it for today's video. You guys should let me know down below some of your favorite signed books, some of your favorite signed books, or some books that you would love to get signed. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you're new here. I post new videos twice a week. If you guys would like to follow me on Twitter or any of my social medias, I will leave the links to all of those in the description box below, as always. But most of all, I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye!